So how do you incorporate the Uber? I had a patient that we paid $10 each way for a taxi, and we kept the receipts. How do you do that other than tell the attorney, hey, listen, there's $400 outstanding for ride
Well,
fees?
it's real easy, but number one, the first thing you need to be aware of is never give the patient money. Even if you're keeping the receipts, never, never. That automatically, I mean, you're looking at fraud. That just doesn't look good to anybody.
Yeah,
Whenever,
we paid the cab. The cab when the cab brought her, I gave him the ten
okay,
bucks. So I mean, literally,
yeah,
when she came,
I actually
yeah,
had a chiropractor call me and say he was actually charged with fraud, and that's what he did. He paid the patient the cab ride, so he was allowed to do it. But here's what they called it. They called it enticement. They go, well, you're enticed. You're essentially paying the patient to come see you, and that's true. And you go in front of a jury, go ahead and try to defend that one. So never give the patient the money, and it's too easy. All you do is set up the account. Now they have business accounts with Uber. All you do is set up the account with Uber, and for that particular person, just it goes to you. You just pay Uber through your credit card. Your staff member sets it up and does it all, and then you got the Uber receipts. That's just too easy. Now you do have a little bit more of an administrative issue because your staff member has to do the Uber calling as opposed to the patient. But even if the patient did it, you just need to get the receipt from the patient. In other words, the patient did it with their own credit card and they called on Uber. So you still want to get it, but that's not how I would do it. I don't want anything looking fishy. I'm like, no, this appointment time is at this time. I'm going to let the patient know it's at this time. We're having the Uber pick them up, whatever, whatever time period before. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to have my staff member call the patient, say, hey, we're sending Uber. I'm going to make sure we're going to confirm it. I'll just have my patient call, say, hey, we're confirming Uber's getting ready to come over. Just to make sure, they're there and they're aware of it and they're not missing and all that kind of stuff. And then it's going on our credit card on file with Uber. So that's how the patient comes to us, and that's how the patient goes back. And we got the receipt directly from Uber. No money is going through the patient's hands. But that's too easy right now. Back in the day before Uber, that's when doctors actually hired, had their own vehicle and go pick up the patient. And that was a whole nother nightmare. That was a whole nother nightmare.
Do you,
But
Paul, what do you do for what's your administrative charge on an Uber?
here's the rule. It has to correspond closely to what your administrative fees would naturally be. So you just have to think to yourself and go, what administrative fee would I put on it? Well, and then you go, well, if I did X amount, when would a red light go off? So if I was doing Uber and I added, 10, 15, no more than 20% for administrative fee, that would be very easy to appropriate, and that wouldn't put off any red bells if it was only right? If I only added 20%. But you add 100, 150%, 200, 300%, you're gonna have red flags going off. So and the administrative fee has to do with your administrative fee. It's not a third party administrative fee. In other words, if you actually had a 300% increase with your administrative fees and you could show it, then you're no problem. But you're already in a big problem if you got 300% administrative fees. You already got a huge business problem, because that's not reality. I mean, you got some serious overhead problems. So, but that's how it's evaluated. I just want you to know, they'll say administrative fees got to be associated with your administrative. What would your administrative fees to be? And you go, well, who says that? Well, they'll hire a forensic consultant to come in and look at your administrative fees. That's what they'll do. If you've ever been charged with fraud, that's what they'll do. So, but I always say, use common sense. If you added 5% more, would that be a red flag? No. 10% more? No. 15? Not really. I wouldn't go past 20. Just from common sense.